Hey everyone, it's SunTypes, and today I'm going to be talking about what might be the best deck in format. It's probably not, but it's pretty close. And this is Greninja EX Control with Pidgeot EX, or you could just call it Pidgeot EX Control with Greninja EX as like a different option. And so this deck isn't like some crazy new deck. Pidgeot EX Control has been around for quite a while, and it's been pretty good for quite a while. And in my opinion, it's one of the best decks in the game, if not the best. It's probably, I think I made my tier list for the World Championship, and I think I put it second. I don't remember, but it was pretty high, certainly top five. And that's because Pidgeot EX has its ability Quick Search, letting you search your deck for a single card every single turn. Keep in mind, you can't use more than one Quick Search ability per turn, so there's no point ever getting out two Pidgeot EXs. Well, you could in certain scenarios, but it's pretty rare. And this is the deck I've actually been using to grind the ladder. I finally got to Arceus League. It took me like longer than I was hoping, but I got there. And I used a few different decks, but at the end of the day, I went back to this deck because it just seemed to win the most consistently for me. Admittedly, on ladder, people don't know how to play against the deck as well. So if you were, say, playing in a tournament, people will know better, but even in a tournament, people aren't prepared for everything. And if you think they are, you can put in interesting tech cards that they're just not prepared for. So this is a pretty interesting list. I think it's pretty good. I've been changing lists as I've went along, though, so we'll see if I have changes to go make in the future, and I'll probably talk about them when I come to them. But Pidgeot EX, as I said, just searches your deck for any card every single turn. This is your engine. It's not your entire engine, but it's most of your engine for most of the game. And one big thing with control decks is they want lots of turns. That's generally what they want to do. And so then you get more value out of quick search because you're using this every turn. So you're getting like 10 cards from this probably that are very meaningful, all of them, and so that's really important. And in addition to that, that's why control decks play lots of supporters as well. This list runs 11, 12, 13, 14 supporters, which isn't like that high for a control deck, but then we do run a couple copies of Pal Pad. It is lower because we wanted to fit the Greninja EX line in, but um, you run lots of supporters because you really want to be playing a supporter every turn in a game with more turns. You can play more supporters. So that's why more supporters are in control decks, which is interesting. But then there's also other stuff to talk about with Pidgeot EX. There is Free Retreat. Free Retreat is like super good. I mean, Free Retreat's pretty insane because for penny looping, it's nice and it's just good. I mean, Free Retreat's obviously the lowest you can get, and it's nice, allowing you to have more options. Your opponent can't trap this in the active, which is, well, they can't trap it just by like bossing it. They can Mawile it, which I've actually had happen, but um, it's still something that they just can't normally trap in the active, which is so nice because there are times when you really need to be using a certain attack, although not that commonly, but there are times. And so if your opponent was able to trap this, like Bibarel gets trapped in the active like so often, it's really rough. And I'm playing control, so if my opponent plays Bibarel, I'm so excited because I can just trap it in the active, and it's really nice. But with you also have the attack Blustery Wind here, which is 120 for 2, which is pretty, it's all right. I mean, we do run double turbo energy, so you can attack and reduce that to 100. Then you can discard a stadium and play as well, which is nice. There are certainly some decks which really want certain stadiums, but it's not amazing. There are games when you will use this, though. I played against Frost last, and I literally just attacked with Pidgeot over and over and over. The game actually was, in my opinion, it was either terrible or great, or maybe both. Yeah, Frostlass, if you don't know its ability, it places damage counters, but it's in between turns, and it's really slow. So the game was really long, not really because of any one of us. I mean, yes, the matchup is like a slow matchup in terms of number of turns, but it was really slow because Frostlass is slow. And then it was an interesting matchup though, and it came down to the wire. It was really interesting. So but I did attack with Pidgeot EX a lot, and there are games when you will attack with Pidgeot EX. You can also just attach two other energies. Although keep in mind, if you attach both, you only play two waters energies in this list, which I think is right. But you don't attach both water energies to Pidgeot EX. I actually did that in the game because I didn't really have a choice, and it was right. But Greninja EX needs water energy, so yeah. So Pidgeot EX super good. Also, 280 HP is low. There are certain times when this is an issue. You do have a weakness to lightning, which can be an issue for Iron Hands EX. If they get 4 energies on, they can knock it out. They might be able to one-shot it for 3 prizes, assuming they have some damage buff. If they're like running the Iron Hands future deck with Iron Crown EX or future booster energy capsule, then they can one shot it for 3 prizes, which isn't good for you. And then resistant to fighting is okay. I mean, there are times when this is useful, I guess. The weakness and resistance haven't been a huge issue when I've been playing the deck so far, but it is something to keep in mind that can matter. Then of course, there's other attackers that are better than Pidgeot EX. There is Greninja EX, which I'll talk about now, and it has 2 attacks. You have Shinobi Blade, which does 170 for 1 water, and you can search your deck for a card and put it in your hand, then shuffle your deck. This is super nice. Honestly, the searching for the card isn't that good, believe it or not, in this list, because you have Pidgeot EX in play, presumably, by the time you have this. This does mean you can go for Greninja EX before you have Pidgeot EX in play, which is nice, and sometimes something you will have to go for and will be the best play. But yeah, Shinobi Blade 170 for 1 is super good. It's like raw stats wise, it's one of the best raw stats attacks in the game. I talked about Garchomp EX a while back, and that does 10 less. When Garchomp EX was revealed, I thought it was a really cool card, and it is, but Greninja EX is way better. And then Barrage here, watercolorless, colorless. You do 120 to 2 your opponent's Pokemon, but you discard 2 energy from this Pokemon. I don't remember. So double Turbo Energy is supposed to reduce the damage dealt. Despite what the card says in the Pokemon TCG, damage is actually calculated first. It's really weird and really confusing, and I don't entirely understand all of it, but I do understand that you calculate the damage before you discard the energy. Super weird, but that's what you do. But live doesn't do that, I don't think. I don't know. I was playing after the update, but I never had a chance to actually use the attack because well, there's a few games when I wanted to use it, but then my opponent quit before I was able to attack with it. And then the other game I was going to use it, and my opponent benched Manaphy, so I was like, I don't want to use this just to like do something terrible, so I didn't use it. But if anyone knows if this card is fixed or not, I don't think it is because it wasn't mentioned in the patch notes, but you never know. And what is the reason for including this card? Because it's actually really interesting. So first of all, Charizard EX, like control Pidgeot EX box decks, have been around. They usually run a 202 Charizard, and this deck runs a 202 Greninja EX, so very similar ideas there. But why do you run Charizard EX or Greninja EX or neither? Probably not both, though. So there is the energy typing. And water energy is probably worse than fire energy, because fire energy does give you access to Radiant Charizard and Chew EX. And we actually don't run any mill attackers in the deck. So that is something that you could consider adding if you wanted. I don't know if it would be worth it. I feel like most of the time it's like just attacking with Greninja EX is probably better. It'll close out the game faster, and milling is pretty random. And there's a bunch of stuff with mill. But it's pretty different. So Greninja EX though, or Charizard EX, they do like solid amounts of damage, but they're usually not one-shotting stuff. However, with weakness, they are one-shotting stuff. So Charizard EX doesn't really hit anything good for weakness that I can think of. Maybe I'm forgetting something, but I can't think of too many things off the top of my head, or really anything. Yeah, I can't think of anything. But then Greninja EX here hits it hits 2 different types. It hits fighting and colorless. Not all colorless Pokemon. For example, Pidgeot EX resists fighting. But Greninja EX will be hitting stuff like Arceus V-Star, and then any lightning decks, so Iron Hands EX and Baridon EX, the lightning one. I guess either lightning one. And there's a Rotom VC's play, and so that's really nice. And additionally, you will hit like a lot of single prize setup Pokemon. I mean, you'll be hitting Barrel for weakness if it's in the active, with Barrage, which could matter if live works right. So you have a lot of different use cases of the hitting the weakness. Hitting resistance isn't super common or super meaningful. Like if you're hitting resistance into Pidgeot EX, that probably doesn't matter. So this card, it's just pretty solid. And then Charizard EX powers itself up easier, and yeah, and it can hit more damage later on as well. But I think Greninja EX has more versatility. I mean, it definitely does. So if you're really good, it's better. That isn't me saying that I'm really good either. I'm getting better though, so I think Greninja EX has a higher ceiling. I could probably play Charizard EX and have similar value here, but I do like the spread aspect. It is something you'll use sometimes, but I don't have any way to really set it up out of nowhere. So because it's two energies and two attachments, three energies, two attachments. So you need to like attach, and your opponent's gonna see you attaching to either a Froakie or a Greninja EX more likely, and they're gonna know. So they're gonna probably Manaphy is what's gonna happen, and usually it's not worth hunting down the Manaphy because they're gonna be like doing big damage to your Greninja EX. In the meantime, most decks are gonna two-shot Greninja EX. Some can one-shot Greninja EX, and don't play Greninja EX if they're gonna one-shot it. That's usually not a good plan. But then we of course have some other cards. And I will talk about my energies now. I run two water energies, two double turbos, and a mist energy. Honestly, mist energy hasn't come in important lately, but it is nice for Mimikyu. Mimikyu is a Pokemon that's, I mean, it's a really good card in my opinion. And so you do have the Mimikyu here to wall off Pokemon EXs and Pokemon Vs from damage, not effects of attacks. This is probably my go-to against the. It's good in a lot of matchups. It's probably, arguably, your best starter in the deck. But Mimikyu, it's really nice, and as I said, it walls EX and Vs, which is nice. And so against the Roaring Moon Ogerpon, no, Raging Bull Ogerpon deck, this card is insane. That being said, it doesn't wall off Magneton if they run that, or no, not Magneton, Sandy Shocks, which is like Magneton, and it doesn't single prizer, and then it doesn't wall off. What do they run? Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon EX if they run that. I think that card's really good. So we can kind of wall it as well. I'll talk about that, but I haven't actually seen that. I've mostly just seen the Sandy Shocks, and then occasionally I'll see UEX as well, because UEX will copy your attack, Ghost Die, put 7 damage counters on your opponent's active Pokemon, and that will knock you out. And then the Sandy Shocks is going to be hitting 90, I believe, and the Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon EX is hitting 140. So those are scary for you. However, and then additionally, Roaring Moon EX will hit through you with an effect of its attack. Same thing with the UEX, it's an effect of Mimikyu's attack. So you can use Mist Energy there to protect yourself, which is nice. To be honest, Mist Energy is often just been an attachment to attack with, so it could be replaced with some other energy. I don't know what the energy would be. You could do another double turbo energy, it's not bad. You could do maybe Jet Energy, but that doesn't seem super great. There are times when you wouldn't want to use that. And then it could be Gift Energy. Gift Energy doesn't seem bad either. I don't really hate that. But I don't love it either. I think Mist Energy's fine. You could do a basic Psychic as well for Mimikyu, but I think Mist Energy's nice. Oh, don't change that. And then we also have, as I said, they're one-shotting you with certain tech options. So we do run Luxurious Cape. And in terms of HP buffing, why doesn't Live sort the cards? This is literally a random order. Anyways, Luxurious Cape is here to only go on Mimikyu. Essentially, that's the only Pokemon you'd ever put it on. I guess you could put it on other Pokemon, but it's pretty rare. So you put on Mimikyu, and that's up to 170 HP. And as I said, you're gonna hit by like 70 or 140 or what was the other one? 90. So those aren't one-shotting you with Luxurious Cape. So that's really nice and really, really important. Same thing with Radiant Greninja if your opponents are running that, or even Excalibur, or pretty much anything. Pretty much any attacking, like Barbarrel, pretty much any single prize attacking option in the game. Oh, it's Cramorant, Sableye, not Radiant Treasure, but most single prize attacking options are not going to be able to one-shot you if you have Luxurious Cape on. They can Lost Vacuum, that's probably going to happen, but force them to use Lost Vacuum, one, is nice, and two, it's just something they can't always do. It's nice for them to have to use that resource. So nice for you to force them to use that resource, I should say. So that's pretty nice. Luxurious Cape and Bravery Charm are the only HP buffs in the deck, though, which is a little sketchy, but I haven't found it to be too bad. Mimikyu, though, super nice, super solid wall, and the deck is infinite. Originally, the list I had wasn't infinite, so I changed that. Greninja EX also, obviously, it takes prizes and takes knockouts. This removes threats from the board, but also allows you access to your prize cards. You can run Daisy's Help to see them, but I don't. So, to see where the specific cards are. But this is really nice because it allows you to dig stuff out of your prizes. You can do that with other attackers though as well. The last attacker is going to be the last like main attacker is Bloodmoon Ursaluna EX. Season skill, it costs 1 colorless less for each prize your opponent's taken, and it does 240 for 5. Can attack next turn, but as I said, 1 colorless less for each prize they've taken, so this can be easily paid with an energy attachment. Depending what state you are in the game, you can really attack with this whenever. Certainly not super early though, easily, right? Because you need to manually attach a bunch, and you don't want to do that. But certainly, late game, it's an insane attacker. Mid game, it is an attacking option. So, always consider this, but it's not doing absurd amounts of damage. It is your highest damaging attacker, but it isn't like one-shotting everything. So this can be used to win games and close out games, though. It's a really powerful Pokemon, and also 260 HP for basic, I think is the highest HP basic in the game. Last, like, a previous video, I was like 300 HP, highest stage 1 in the game, and so I was like, no, that's not correct. Because it's Palafin. But Bloodmoon Ursaluna EX, really high HP basic, so that's super nice. I mean, it's way tankier than any of your other options. I guess the Luxray V and Ogerpon EX, the water one, have 210, which isn't as far off. With a Bravery Charm, same HP, but Bloodmoon Ursaluna EX is so tanky that most decks won't be able to one-shot it, especially once you are able to eliminate one of your opponent's threats on the board with this actual attack. And then, of course, you do run lots of Gust, so you can target down what you want, or a good amount of Gust. I mean, it's 1 boss and 2 counter catches, which isn't super high, but when you have access to search your deck all the time, it's super nice. Also, boss is actually arguably better than counter catcher in the deck because it is recoverable, which is really important. There are pros and cons to each. Counter catcher is an item, not your supportive return, so they both have a lot of value. And I could see adding a third counter catcher or a second boss. Probably a third counter catcher, actually. You just need 1 boss, probably, because you can keep recovering it. But 2 counter catchers is like sometimes not enough. I'd say 2 is enough, but if you prize 1 or have to like discard it early for some weird reason, then 1's not enough. We'll talk about the Pidgeot and Froakies, or I don't even know what Froakies there are. But Froakie having 70 HP is nice. Oh, I misspelled that. Because so don't play this other Froakie. Froakie having this also 30 for 1 is probably better on a coin flip, but it's okay, I guess. No, actually, this other Froakie might be better, but in terms of attacks. But this one, 70 HP, is nice. There are a lot of Pokemon that are going to be hitting. I mean, there's Dragapult hitting 60 to the bench, Sableye hitting 60 to 2, or it's doing 120 spread wherever you want, so they can knock out a Pidgey and a Froakie, but hopefully that doesn't happen. They certainly can't knock out 2 Froakies, though. They could Hawlucha. Also, this list used to run Hawlucha. That card seems so bad. I never used it. I used it once, but it's not very good. Pidgey, though, Colorful Family, super good. This will bail you out more than it should. So obviously using this it's not the best attacking option because you don't want to put your Pidgey in harm's way, but there are times when this is super clutch. Call for Family is definitely the way to go here. And then in terms of setup attackers, I'll talk about Rotom V is not an attacker, but instant charge, draw 3 end your turn. Then Cleffa, free retreat again. And you draw till 7 in hand, and this is really nice because it can draw you a lot, but it's not amazing. I guess it's good. Some people love this card. I think it's okay. It has seriously high value in some situations, but it's like useless in others. So this is Rotom V, which can bail you out of essentially any hand, at least a little bit. So generally Rotom V is probably better than Cleffa, but I don't know. I think there's certainly value in having either of them. Cleffa's 30 HP. Obviously, it's terrible as well, so be careful about that. But most of the time, it's not that bad. Because if you're against like Sableye or some like small spread, it's a bit of an issue, but like hopefully your other Pokemon in play have higher HP, which they will because it's the lowest. And then free retreat's also nice. And then Rotom V, you can hide behind a wall as well. You can hide behind Mimikyu or literally anything. So yeah, Rotom V super nice here as well. Keep in mind after you Rotom V, you might just get Iono'd. That is something that will happen as well. There are times when you could actually avoid Rotom V to not make your opponent Iono. However, if you just pass, like you turn 1, play Rotom V, pass, your opponent is probably still gonna Iono you if they're thinking about it because they assume that your hand's pretty good, assuming it's like a decent size. If it's like 2 cards, they're probably not gonna iron it. You could do mind games from this deck, but yeah. Anyway, and then Lumineon V, which on play search for supporter. This card's really nice. The list does run for Ultra Balls, which is, in my opinion, like necessary in any control deck. It's just really good. And Lumineon V gets a supporter. And that supporter can be Arven, which can then get you the tool card for Seal Stone. The list only runs 1 copy. I think there is value in a second copy for more consistency, but I've been getting better, and now I haven't been getting my 4 Seal Stones like Lost Vacuum and Ionode all the time. I think in a previous video I was like, I was so bad at it, because my my 4 Seal Stone would get Ionode if I didn't play it, and it would get Lost Vacuum if I did, and I'd always do it wrong and always make the wrong read. But I've gotten better at that, and also people are playing less Iono, it seems like. Maybe not, but that's what it feels like. So, yeah. 4 Seal Stone is what one is probably enough. If it's prized, that can be bad, but whatever. This also does run a Team Devolution. I always forget this card's in the deck. I very, very rarely use it. I literally just saw it and I was like, wait, this card's in the deck. It's nice if your opponent is like Rare Candy heavy focused, which is nice, and you can recover it as well with Roseanne's backup, which can recover Luxurious Cape, I guess. I mean, Luxurious Cape probably is just gonna get Lost Vacuumed. It's probably not gonna get like knocked out, but uh, you can get back Bravery Charm or Team Devolution. It gets back a Stadium. It gets back a Pokemon, a Tool, and an Energy. So it's a pretty good card. Speaking of stadiums, we're doing Lost City. Lost City is theoretically interesting if your opponent has, say, like Manaphy and you want to go after their bench a lot, or I don't know. I mean, they're just different options. Oh, Bloodmoon Ursaluna EX, which is weak to Greninja EX. You can target that or whatever. It's okay. I haven't really used it too much, and I've mostly been having my own attackers Lost City, and I'm like kind of sad, but not that sad. But I don't know if Lost City is the right stadium. I feel like you want a stadium because you're in Roseanne's backup. It seems pretty bad to not run any stadiums. The other options, you could run Artizone, of course, always a classic. You could run Collapse Stadium, but that's kind of sketchy. You could run Calamitous Wasteland as well, I guess, but I wouldn't do that. And what other options are there? I guess Town Store's okay, but that also bails out a lot of other decks. Template Sinnoh, I know some lists like to run this, but it's not good because you run lots of special energies. And yeah, I guess that's it. You could Jamming Tower, but that seems super niche. So, excuse me. My allergies are pretty bad right now. So then a few more things to talk about. In terms of Pokemon, it does run Wellspring Master Ogerpon EX. This is allowing you to trap when your opponent's active Pokemon is in the act with Sob. This versus Mawile is an interesting debate, and I could certainly see either one in the deck. I do have Torrential Pump, which is really nice for it's like a snake-based attack. It's pretty cool. It's honestly an attack I've never used in the deck though, so keep that in mind because yeah, it's just not super common to use it because generally you want to be trapping the Pokemon. That's why you're using Ogerpon, and you're probably not setting up for it. We don't run Thornton. Thornton's a nice card in the deck, which could allow you to use this more often for Torrential Pump, but I haven't used it yet. And Sob, though, is really nice. The 210 HP is higher than Mawile's 90, which is the big upside of this card. But there are two downsides. One is an EX, so it gives up 2 prizes, which I've certainly been I've had issues with. And then I've also had issues where Sob, you do damage, which is generally bad. Mawile actually increases the amount of damage you do next turn if you do damage, which is nice. It's actually better than just doing damage this turn because it allows for big one-shotting attacks, but doesn't force you to take them. Versus Sob, you do damage over time. And you do have double turbo energy to put on this Ogerpon, but it's certainly worse having to force yourself to use the double turbo energy on this Pokemon because that's obviously, I mean, you'd rather not have to use it. You'd rather be able to use any energy. So that is a bit of an issue, but it's not bad. I mean, it's a really solid addition. I guess it's better than the Mawile, but you could certainly go either way. So far, I haven't I've seen the pros and cons, and it hasn't been that big of an issue either way either. Then Luxray V here, 2 colorless, just 30 discard to trade from your opponent's hand. Again, doing damage isn't so good, but you're not doing that much, and it's really good in certain scenarios. And I do also run Eri as well to discard 2 items from their hand. Only one. I think Eri is just an okay card in control. It's solid though. In certain scenarios, if your opponent, say like, especially Regieleki EX with Ogerpon EX, they're gonna go and they're gonna burst for. I think is that their first attack. I don't remember. I think it is though. And they I think Bellowing Thunder is their second attack. Anyway, they're gonna Eri and or no, they're gonna discard their hand, draw 6 cards with their attack, and then you're gonna Eri them and hopefully get rid of like Superior or like Energy Retrieval, Pal Pad or something, and just win. And then you can Luxray V as well on top of that, and hopefully get rid of their Professor Sun's Vitality. But Eri's okay. And then Misfortune Sisters is actually better than Eri in my opinion, just letting you look at the top 5 cards of your opponent's deck. Discard any items you find there. This gets items before your opponent has them in their hand. And with like Eri, they probably think you're playing Eri, so they're just gonna play their items before they before you get a chance to discard them most of the time. So it's not gonna be super high value. There are times when it's super good against Lost Zone as well. And I have found this deck to be okay against Lost Zone. I didn't talk about matchup spreads. Because I have mostly been playing against Ogerpon, to be honest, Reasonable Ogerpon. But I'd say it's pretty good against a lot of matchups, and the bad matchups, Lugia's like super sketchy. I don't really know how to beat that deck, to be honest. Yeah, if anyone has any tips to beat Lugia, I don't know. I mean, you just kind of wing it and like hope something goes your way or something like that. You can target Archeopses. Oh wait, this doesn't one shot Archeops, but you can target Archeopses. And try to like boss trap something, but it's such a sketchy matchup. And like Tempest won't help that much, to be honest. So, and then most of the other matchups are fine. Lost Zone's kind of sketchy, but honestly, just stick it out and it's winnable. You just like discard their switches and either force them to be aggressive and then you're more passive and you can just punish them in the late game, or you can be honestly kind of aggressive with Greninja EX. They can't really do too much about it in most builds. They do have Roaring Moon EX or Giratina V-Star, but you have Mist Energy there, and you can also like kind of bait that out with something else and hopefully bait that out with something else and do something. And they don't even always play Roaring Moon now, I don't think. I don't know. And then against Gardevoir, that's another top deck, which sees a bunch of play. I don't know, that deck's like alright. I guess you probably just guessed around because once they accelerate all their energy to one Pokemon, you try to gust trap something else. That's a matchup where Mallow would be much better than Wellspring Master or your Pony X because a lot of the times they are able to just like they're able to knock you out and then they take the multiple prizes. So that's worse than giving up one prize. What other cards do we need to talk about? Regieleki. I haven't used Regieleki. It recovers a trainer from just getting into your hand. I've literally never used it in the deck, but it seems okay. I don't know if it's the best option, to be honest, but it's nice. There are times when this could come in super clutch, but it seems kind of situational. Especially I only run 5 energies, which isn't a lot. I mean, it's pretty low. So I don't know if this is right. Yeah, and then Hisuian Heavy Ball, Nest Ball, Ultra Ball, kind of obvious what they do. They get your Pokemon. Oh, Penny. I didn't talk about Penny. Penny's so important. We also run Scoop Up Cyclone and Turo scenario. So this is a really big thing. Oh, I will say we do run 4 Rare Candy, a Lost Vacuum. That's pretty much what you'd expect it does. It just gets rid of tools and stadiums, and it's not like any specific use usually. Oh, and Buddy-Buddy Poffin. Buddy-Buddy Poffin also super solid in the deck. And that's part of the reason why you can run Cleffa. You can Buddy-Buddy Poffin for that, which could be nice. 2 Pal Pads of Cyllene Team Yell's Cheer. I definitely recommend this. The list I copied didn't run Yell's Cheer or Cyllene, which seemed terrible, so I put them in. And then and then Arven's like I guess your main supporter. It's 3 Arven, 2 Iono. Iono is really good in control. So yeah. But the what was I talking about? Oh yeah, so the recovery, or sorry, like the scoop up cards. So returning like Bloodmoon Ursaluna EX to your hand, you can attack with this over and over and over, and in fact you have to because you can't attack next turn. So you need to penny the Bloodmoon Ursaluna EX or whatever other scoop up it, and so you scoop it up with Scoop Up Cyclone, Professor Turo, Snare, or Penny, and then you send up a free retreater, probably Pidgeot EX, but Cleffa, as I said earlier, is a free retreater as well. And additionally, if you're attacking for free, then you can send up a Pokemon with 1 retreat and retreat it, or even 2. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think anything has 2 retreat. Also Regieleki 3 retreat, not so good. But Pidgeot EX, you probably send that up, and then you send up, and then you play down Bloodmoon Ursaluna EX, send that up, and just attack again. It's really nice, especially when this is like a late game thing. These are probably your only Pokemon to play, and you're just hitting really hard. Additionally, getting Pokemon out of play is nice. Lumineon V, obviously, great ability. Also, low HP, terribly low HP. 170 is bad. I ran to Bloodmoon Ursaluna EX 260. That's like so much worse. And so you want to get this out of play with Penny. It's even like worse than Rotom V at 190, which is low, but there are definitely times when 170 is worse than 190. Not that many, but there are some. So you want to Penny your Turos or Scoop Up Cyclone out of play. Scoop Up Cyclone, as well as all the other cards, they active switch as switches as well. So this is what you'll use to switch. You can sometimes retreat, but you can just more commonly just switch by scooping something up. And then it also will allow you to reuse abilities as well. Notably, well, it allows you to reuse Lumineon V's ability, which is nice in certain scenarios. So Scoop Up Cyclone can actually act as just like search for a supporter. That's pretty situational. I haven't actually done that. You could actually Nest Ball for Lumineon V and then Scoop Up Cyclone, play it back down. I've never done that, but that is a play you could do. Scoop Up Cyclone has felt really good as an ace spec though, because it is a scoop up effect searchable off of Arven, and that is super good. And it allows you to support her in the same turn. It's just really nice, and I found it useful in a number of scenarios. It's also really fun. So traditionally, people would run Hero's Cape, and I was like, it's not that good. There is no. The only HP buffs, as I said, are Luxurious Cape, which is essentially only going to go on Mimikyu, occasionally on like Pidgey or Froakie. Probably not Cleffa though. But then there's Bravery Charm, which can go on pretty much anything, but anything except for your evolutions. And that's nice. But then the Defiance Vest card is also really nice. There are definitely times when, like, say, Radiant Greninja does 90, you do put Bravery Charm Pidgey, and you survive, which is so nice and so important. In a number of games, I've had that happen, and I would like 2, but that's it's a surprisingly common occurrence to Bravery Charm Pidgey, and then Defiance Vest wouldn't work there. But I think Defiance Vest could be nice if you are trapping something with Ogerpon. Again, the 210 HP higher than 90 is nice, meaning your opponent you can Penny loop the Ogerpon, which is very realistic, versus Penny looping Mawile is harder to do. So or Scoop Up Cyclone looping as well. So I do think that Scoop Up Cyclone is the right ace spec here, though. Hero's Cape's okay. Legacy Energy is also a really interesting ace spec. Oh, I didn't say you can attack with Lumineon V. I've never done that, but Legacy Energy allows you to attack with more of your options. You can attack with Mimikyu, I guess, is the only one, but you can attack with other stuff easier. So there is value in Legacy Energy, and you give up one less prize, which is nice, and you can recover it with Roseanne's backup. So you don't give up the one less prize if you've already had that effect happen in the game, but Mimikyu can attack with it, can still use the Psychic Energy later on. So that's pretty interesting, and I have played Legacy Energy in Control, and I think it's pretty fun. It opens up the Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon EX as well, but overall, this is my current list. I think it's super good. I think it's a contender for one of the best decks in the game. Not the 60. The 60 is not. It's not a perfect 60 by any means, but I think Pidgeot Control is, and Greninja EX is a great option in the deck. And it's not that committal. I mean, it's I guess it's like 6 spots. It's probably 2 rare candies. And also like 4 rare candies feels much better, because you'll often struggle to find rare candy and Pidgeot EX early game, so just playing more is nice. And then it's 4 rare candies, 2 Greninja EXs, 2 Froakies, but you're already playing probably 2 rare candies. So, and then it is water engines as well. So I guess it is like 8 spots kinda, but there's spots that are that have value in other scenarios outside of like the Greninja Froakie. The Greninja EX itself though is so good. It's a great the first attack, great raw stats. I mean, just 170 for 1, super great. And then searching for a card is nice as well. And has synergy with Control, although not as much when you already have Pidgeot EX. But then, yeah, Mirage Barrage is fun. But anyways, that's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Try this deck out. It's actually fun. It's interesting to play against as well, and it's really weird. It's I don't know. When I play it, I just kind of go with the flow, trust the process, and it usually works out. But I hope you enjoyed, and as always, I'm excited to see you in the next video. Also, like, subscribe, all that stuff.